like a fool anymore. You can't do new things anymore. Tomorrow I announce I'm a breakdancer, right? That's going to be met with a lot of scorn and ridicule. But what if I want to be a breakdancer?
I'd back you if you want to make that claim.
Yeah, the truth is, if I want to be a breakdancer, I'd be breakdancing. But like I'm starting a new company, 0 to 1 again, from scratch. Let's do it, one more time, and not just going and raising a big VC fund or retiring or what have you. But that's because I want to build the product. I want to see it exist. So I think that you constantly just have to force yourself. You have to remind yourself. Look, deep down, you're still the same Chris you were when you were 9 years old. Deep down, you're still a kid. You're still curious about the world. You still have a lot of the same predilections and desires and wants. You've got a nice veneer on it. But one of the nice things when you have kids is you realize how much closer they are to you in personality and knowledge and know-how. Like I look at my son who's, he's 8, and I just noticed wow, he's probably has 60 to 80% of my knowledge and development wisdom, and he has a lot more freedom, and he has a lot more spontaneity. In some ways he's smarter, and there's not a big gap here left to close. This kid's going to be done very soon, caught up to me. And so to the extent that I think I know better, or that I'm somewhere, or that I'm someone, it's just an illusion. It's just a belief.
What's the lineage between that and taking yourself too seriously?
They might be watching.
I shouldn't take myself too seriously because there's nothing here to take that seriously. And if I take myself too seriously, then I'm going to get trapped. I'm going to circumscribe myself again into a limited set of behaviors and outcomes that keep me from being free, keep me from being spontaneous, keep me from being happy. So it just goes back to the, don't think about yourself too much.
There's a special type of pain in realizing that the advice that you need to hear right now is something that almost always you learned a long time ago. And that, you're basically sort of the same person you were as you were 9. A lot of the time people ask questions like, what advice do you wish that you would give yourself 10 years ago? People ask themselves that question. Almost invariably, the advice that you would give yourself 10 years ago is still the advice that you need to hear today.
Absolutely. That's why I did that exercise of thinking back, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years ago, what advice would I give myself? For me, it's just be less emotional. Don't take everything so seriously. Do the same things, but do them without all the emotional turbulence. And so that's the advice I'm giving myself going forward.
Yeah. It's funny how we need that distance to be able to be a little bit more objective, to have a little bit more perspective. And it's almost a little bit of a trick, right? Because typically when you do that, you say, what would you tell a friend that was going through this?
Right.
And then you try and turn the advice to the friend around onto yourself. You always think, well, I'm not a friend. Okay, you, 10 years ago, there's enough distance in there and you go, I actually am still that person. It's just a single line between them.
Yeah, and related to this story is, I think, understanding is way more important than discipline. Now, Jocko would have a fit. But, on physical things, discipline. If I want to build a good body, I got to work out on a regular basis. But on mental things, I think understanding is way more important. Once you see the truth of something, you cannot unsee it. All of us have had experiences where we've seen a behavior in a person, and then it just changes what we think about that person. We no longer want to be friends with them, or we deeply respect them if it was, really good behavior that maybe was observed unintentionally. So when we really do see something clearly, it changes our behavior immediately. And that is far more efficient than trying to change your behavior through repetition.
Could you give me an example?
If you were, let's say that, you have a friend and then that person turns out to be a thief. You see that person stealing something. You're done with them. If you are, the smoking lung cancer example is.
Life is going to play out the way it's going to play out. There will be some good and some bad. Most of it is actually just up to your interpretation. You're born, you have a set of sensory experiences, and then you die. How you choose to interpret those experiences is up to you, and different people interpret them in different ways.
Yeah, it's the old line about two people walking down the street. They're having the exact same experience. One is one is happy, one is sad, right? It's a narrative in their heads. It's how they choose to interpret. So I think when I said that, it was a long time ago, I was talking more about having positive interpretations and negative interpretations. But these days, I think it's better just not to have any interpretations.
And to just allow things to be.
You're still going to have interpretations. You can't stop it, and nor should you try. But even that having an interpretation is just a thing you can leave alone.
Yeah, I really want to try and just dig in a little more to the best way to remind people that they should value their time. Just how brief it is, that the time that you spend ruminating, being distracted, fears of the past, regrets.
Well,
Introducing your champion.
I don't want to tell anybody how to live their life. I would just say that to the extent that you want to improve your quality of life, the easiest and best way to do that is to observe your own mind and your own thoughts and be a little, not necessarily critical, but
You're in front of the enemy.
be observant of yourself more objectively. And then you kind of realize your own loops and patterns. It takes time. It's not overnight. It's not instantaneous.
So you mean letting go is not a one-time event?
Yeah, and there's letting go is not necessarily even the right answer. Like, yes, if you're trying to be an enlightened being and you want to live like a god and everything's gonna be perfect and be a Buddha, sure, you can let go. But I think in practice it's actually quite hard to do. I think I would say that it's you're gonna find a lot of fulfillment out of life by just doing what you want to do and genuinely exploring what it is that you want, rather than doing what other people expect you to do or society expects you to do or what you might just think it should be done by default. I think most older successful people will tell you that their life was best when they lived it unapologetically on their own terms. Be selfish.
Holistic self.
Round 1. Beginning ring countdown.
I hope you're buried in a more respectable outfit than that. Extended light mag here. Level 3.
Attention. Evil harvest.
Selfishness.
There we go.
Yeah, exactly.
We can clip that little.
I'm telling
post
you,
out about
that's
being
what it is.
selfish.
Yeah.
And
That's
then
it.
everyone
Just
can
keep
say
running
I'm
it
the
back.
bad guy. Great.
I had this insight, or a question, I guess. How much do you think that we should trust the voice in our heads? Because half of wisdom suggests to rely on your sort of bottom-up intuition, and then half of it has to be sort of top-down, rational as possible. How do you navigate the tension between head and gut in this way?
I think the gut is what decides. The head is kind of what rationalizes it afterwards. The gut is the ultimate decision maker. If it doesn't, and what is the gut? The gut is refined judgment. It's taste.
An aggregator.
Aggregated. And it could be aggregated through evolution, and it's in your genes and your DNA, or it could be aggregated through your experiences and what you've thought through. The mind is good at solving new problems and new problems in the external world that have defined edges, beginnings and ends and objectives. What the mind is actually really bad at is making hard decisions. So when you have a hard decision to make, I find it's better to, yes, you ruminate on it, you think through all the pros and cons, but then you sleep on it. You wait a couple of days. You wait until the gut answer appears with conviction and it feels right. And when you're younger, it takes longer because you just don't have as much experience. And when you're older, it can happen much faster, which is why,
And you have less time to...
Yeah, and old people are more set in their ways as a consequence, right? They know what they want, they know what they don't want. So it takes time to develop your gut instinct and judgment. But once you've developed them, don't trust anything else because you can't go against your gut. It'll bite you in the end. Usually in relationships that failed, you can look back and say, oh, actually, I knew it was going to fail because of this reason, but I kind of went ahead anyway because I wanted it to be this way, right? I wanted this person to be a different way than they are, or I wanted to get a different thing out of it.
That experience, that emotions are events that happen to you, is an illusion that the brain creates. Your brain is using your past experience as fodder for predicting what's going to happen. That's what an emotion is. That's what an instance of any emotion is. It doesn't necessarily mean that there's something wrong in the world or with you. I've been studying emotions for about 30 years. There are a lot of misconceptions that people have about emotions and how they work. There's great variability in emotional lives. Some people float in a sea of tranquility. They're kind of mild and easy to deal with.
New kill leader.
Other people tread water in a tumultuous sea of emotion. They're constantly having intense experiences. They feel as if their emotions control them instead of them controlling their emotions. But all of that experience, that emotions are events that happen to you that you have to deal with, is an illusion that the brain creates. Your brain is always regulating your body. Your body is always sending sensory information back to your brain, like how much glucose, how much oxygen, how much salt, what's the status of almost every metabolic factor that keeps you alive and well. And your brain isn't wired in a way for you to experience those sensory changes specifically. Instead, what you experience is a summary. And that's where those feelings of pleasantness or unpleasantness, comfort, discomfort, feeling worked up or feeling calm and quiescent, that's where those simple feelings come from. And what your brain is doing is telling itself a story about what is going on inside your body in relation to what's happening in the brain. And it's creating this story using
upgrades waiting for me. Frag out. Thermite grenade out.
Attention. Delivering care package.
Enemy shield.
Care package coming down.
Multiple down. Whole squad's down. We made the right choices.
Nice kill. They never saw it coming. I gotcha. Hey, how about no more dying today?
Extended sniper mag here. Shield battery here.
Extended heavy mag here. Level 3.
See that? Dropship up there. Punching a tunnel.
Recharging shields.
Pass chosen. Got an idea where it leads. Portal placed. Enemy over there.
Okay.
Firing. Broken enemy shield.
It's on the radar. Check your map.
Enemies are shooting at me. Giving my shields a recharge.
Under fire.
Reloading.
Hostile close.
Reloading.
Grappling. The enemies are shooting at me. I have been down.
Frag out.
I've gotcha. Hey, how about no more dying?
Enemy shield broken.
Giving my shields a recharge.
Ready shield.
Reloading. I'm taking shots.
Enemy clip me.
Enemy shield broken. I've been down.
I have been down. Keep eyes on the new kill leader.
Contact with hostile.
Taking fire.
I come back if you're ever looking for a Mirage à Trois. That's where you fight.
knowledge about emotion that you have learned from your past to predict.
In 2008, they were over leveraged, so we literally went bankrupt. In 2008, they were over leveraged, so we literally went bankrupt. You could just grab 33 random people on the planet, and one of them on average would have seen that video because the views are so fucking high. I've probably, in my lifetime, read over 5,000 messages or comments or something telling me to kill myself. It's funny, the more good you do, the more people think you're secretly evil. If my mental health was a priority, I wouldn't be as successful as I am.
You're so unbelievably unique. I've interviewed hundreds and hundreds of people, and I've never ever met someone who has the perspective on life that you have. You are truly unique. What do I need to understand about your earliest years to understand who you are?
Oh boy. Yeah, my earliest years, I I'm just stubborn, man. I just never give up. I mean, there's no world where I ever would have quit. When I was 11, I just said, I'm going to be a YouTuber. I'm going to die trying. And I meant it. And there was like, even if no one still watches my videos to this day, I would still be going.
And where did that come from?
I have no idea, to be honest. Honestly, it feels like it was just in my DNA, in my bloodstream. I had phases in my life where I was like, am I too extreme? Like, people are very intimidated by me because I just am so obsessed with work and I'm so all in. And like, it's funny when you're making lots of money, it's like admirable, it's respectable. It's like, look, those are traits we want. But when you're not successful, you know, you're a lunatic when you have all these traits. And so
what about your parents, mum and dad? You talk about your mother a lot.
Me and my mom have a phenomenal relationship, but on the come up, it was pretty rough because in 2008 they were over leveraged, so we literally went bankrupt. My mom was working 2 jobs and barely getting by, and so I didn't see her that much because when I was coming home from school, she was doing her 2nd job. So it was a lot because she was the single mom raising us. She's working all the time, you know. She comes home and she just has this brat that's being annoying and like, I want to be a YouTuber, and she's just begging me. Sometimes she would literally cry and beg me to do homework, and like I was just like, I don't care. Like I just want to be successful. I want to build businesses, and so it was like, bless her heart. Luckily it worked out. So now I spoil her. She's great. She has her 2nd home. Anything she could ever want, she has. And so the first thing I did was start paying my mom, take care of her once I started making money, because she gave everything to like get me where I am, and I wouldn't be where I am now. My mom is great. I love my mom.
A lot of people can't understand someone being...
Have time to strategize. Taking fire. Recharge.
Firing on our boat.
Eliminate the enemy.
Broken enemy shield.
The ring is near. 45 seconds remain. Going there.
Attention.
Evo harvest. Throwing frag. Online. Shields are depleted. Recharging.
Over there. Run them off. Hostage practice.
Enemy killed. Extended light magazine here. Level 3. Reloading.
Companions, we're not far from the...
Go here.
Progress.
Wait, wait.
boat here.
Target spotted.
Enemies
Far. Agreed.
Here, now. We must reposition here.
Breaking through at the gate.
Care package.
Shot at.
Care package incoming. Move this way.
Search with you. We happy few.
Pitiful, allowing themselves to be caught. I shattered an enemy's shield.
Shields recharging. I'm healing.
Targeting that spot.
Got a fallback set.
Eliminate the enemy.
Broken enemy shield.
Enemy there.
Throwing frag.
I'm healing.
Sending our star. These arms are easily broken.
Broken enemy. Another squad is going. You on our fly.
Job.
Firing on enemy. That squad is
Shield crack. Test your strategy. Another enemy falls. Enemy on me. Many enemies.
Top down an enemy.
Reloading.
An upgrade is available. I must choose. Grenade. Looting here.
Fighting for the enemy.
Shields are...
Being shot at.
Replenishing.
Taking a ride through the vortex. Stinger coming in. Recharging shields. Go here.
I'm knackered. Need a moment to heal.
Moving here.
Using meds.
Target here.
拉着打2队。
Reloading.
Spotted a foe over there. Jolly good.
Another switch you on our fire.
Grenade incoming.
Spotted.
Shield.
Another by the gods. I'm done. Don't revive me. It's not safe.
好，
Shot at.
第3队来了。
Our squad mate fell. Avenge them. I'm under fire. Enemy shield cracked.
Hold on. Recharging shields.
Heal, heal, heal. Enemy shield cracked. Reloading. Recharging shields.
Getting help. I'm done.
Come on, heal, heal, heal.
你可以直接捡分，因为你应该捡得到哈口。
I've been downed.
我回答。
Activating the void nexus. This fight isn't over. Get up.
Using to heal.
Healing.
Hold on. Recharging shields.
Target close.
Countdown.
Adjust your strategy. I've secured the banner. They get a second chance. We routed that squad.
Replicator coming down.
Repairing damages. I have chosen an upgrade.
Here. Spotted an enemy.
Let's put you in a bind.
I've been
I'm under fire. Phase tear ready.
No matter how many times.
my beautiful void nexus and
Shot at. The nerve.
走吧，
Our
一队
squad mate fell.
来打。
Bound by my hand. Repairing damages.
我们跑吧。
1 minute until the ring closes. Frag out. Arc star out. Releasing Arc star. I'm under fire. Moving here. I will cut them. Shields are depleted. Recharging. Cut down an enemy. Recharging shields. Healing.
An enemy's here.
在哪里？
It's not yet safe to revive me.
Reloading. We'll be caught outside the ring if we don't move.
An enemy's being revived here.
We routed that squad. This fight isn't over. Get up.
可以拿我的牌子吗？不用做。
没问题。
Care package incoming. Heal, heal, heal.
I'm healing.
Shield out. Heal, heal, heal.
I'm healing.
One moment. I've secured the banner. They get a second chance. Repairing damages.
Healing.
Round 3. Beginning ring countdown.
The next ring's far. Moving that way. Respawn beacon there. Use that jump tower.
Half the squad still draw their miserable breaths. Let's show them the bullet's mercy. Be aware of replicators incoming.
Healing.
I'm healing.
1 minute until the ring closes. Target close. Repairing damages. 45 seconds and a nearby ring. We strategized effectively.
Companions undeployed through here. Medical kit here.
Wait.
Healing.
Healing.
Deploying a heat shield.
没时间了，18秒。
Crafting. And you better not take my bloody pace.
We have 10 seconds. Move with purpose.
Enough dawdling, children. The ring moves and we aren't in it. The care package approaches. One of the odds is fully stocked with my...
I'm under fire. Sending an arc star. Recharging shields. Going there.
I'm healing.
Tear through. Under fire. Let's regroup here. Another take. Enemy close. You are
牛逼
lucky.
牛逼！
I know of far worse ways to die.
应该刀的哦。
Care package over there.
Attention. Delivering replicator.
Enemy spotted.
骷髅海。
Being so relentlessly focused.
我又钻石了。
他们干嘛这样玩啊？
因为这不是高端区。
啊，我们都要进圈啊！干他，干我刚刚差点骷髅海啊！没有啊，不是骷髅海，就差点有机会骷髅海。
哇，多几杀？
对，他们没有很多12杀，可是就是还剩很多这样。
哦，
蛮可惜。
RK，
对啊 ，RK。
哇，啥？
干超可惜，因为 RK 的话就机会就很大，因为人都会死很慢。然后我杀12个人，还剩下15个人，所以蛮可惜。
啊，你挂了？
对啊。
没吃。
刚 Q 起来被锁，一管直接带走了。
哎，事实告诉我，还是拿着烧饼。
Of competitor.
On something with the level of like commitment and sustained commitment that you've shown.
Yeah, I agree because it's very weird, like how, like I have extreme obsession to the point where like I'm like really good at just obsessing over one thing more than anyone else on the planet. If I were to say what's my superpower, it's that I can just obsess endlessly about something and I can just have the same thoughts over and over and over and over again. It's very weird. I just really love solving consistent, complex, hard problems. I think that's like what gets me out of bed, and like the harder the problems, the more exciting it is.
Has any of that stuff ever got to you? Any criticism?
Oh, of course. Yeah, I mean, all criticism all the time does, but I mean, we are averaging like 200 million views a video. Like, you know, like most of it unique viewers. Like we're talking like 2+%, sometimes 3% of humans alive watched every piece of content I put out. You could just grab 33 random people on the planet, and one of them on average would have seen that video because the views are so fucking high. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of criticism. The thing is, since our stuff's so global, sometimes, you know, transcends culture and not everyone views everything. And
Watch out! Some weird bloke just about landed on top of me.
我这里面一个好几队。
Well, you do have a spine.
so everyone has different opinions and stuff like that, which is why it will drive you crazy at our scale if you try to make people happy. Because even if 99% of people are deeply happy, but in our case, if just 1% is unhappy, that's 2 million people, which is more than anyone else even gets on video views on video. So which will feel like an insurmountable amount of criticism and feedback, and it's very easy to like trick your views on video. So which will feel like an at our scale. If you hey, what's my superpower?
Tear through. Under fight. Let's regroup here. Another take. Enemy close.
That's crazy.
At our scale, if you try to make people happy, because even if 99%
Again. Target landed near me. Bold move. And fatal.
The enemies are shooting at me. Recharging shields. Devotion here.
Oh, fuck.
I'm under fire. A snare is binding me. Grenade
Oh my god.
Hey, Yoo-hoo. Get back to the sidelines. It's safer there.
Attention.
I am carrying myself.
Are
I am
online.
taking fire. I have it down.
of people are reminded to thinking, damn, everyone hates me because you just, you know, focus on the 1% instead of the 99. So I just came to the point where, you know, I just have to have my own internal guidelines of like, do I think what I'm doing is good? Do what I think, you know, is moral, ethical? Do I believe in what I'm doing? If so, fuck it. Like, I'm never going to be able to make everyone happy. I've probably in my lifetime read over 5,000 messages or comments or something telling me to kill myself. I mean, you know what I mean? You know, just like, and what would possess someone to tell you to like leave a comment where it's like fucking kill yourself. You know what I mean? So we were not meant to receive this kind of feedback from basically anyone anywhere in the world. You know what I mean? Just all consistently day in and day out for in my case now over a decade.
Has it ever really got to you?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, it does all the time, or it used to all the time. It's like, it's hard because, anytime I do anything good, it's, people are always like, they try to, we're like conditioned in America now. When someone does something good, there's always some ulterior motive. And I've always been straightforward and just said, a world where I help people is just better than a world where I don't. I just kind of, that's my answer.
An intelligent fighter would land there. We'll be well positioned there.
A hooligan landed near me. How impolite.
This weapon is I have located some extra supplies. Opening fire.
First blood. The king's afoot. Watching me, Arkstar.
We're already in the next ring. Now we wait.
Joker right here.
Bound by my hand. Caught like a rat in the trap.
Smart bullets away.
Throwing frag.
Enemy down.
A second. I've been downed.
这种4发哦。
Picked an upgrade that'll make everyone totes jelly.
But it always does suck when people try to just like, it's funny, the more good you do, the more people think you're secretly evil. And it's like, why can't I just help people because it's fun? So occasionally those will get to me, like when I build wells in Africa or help blind people see or things like that. You'd read some of these things online, you would think I'm Hitler. I mean, it's crazy like how people portray it. And I don't know, I wish people just understand, like, in my opinion, a world where I help people is just more fun than a world where I don't. And it's really not that deep.
I've heard you speak about your mental health before, and
I don't. Well, the thing is, here's the problem. Like, it's if my mental health was a priority, I wouldn't be as successful as I am. I mean, and that's just like a sad fact. Like, I obviously never would have buried myself alive for 7 days, 7 days of solitary, 7 days on a deserted island, 7 days.
斯多葛主义哲学教导我们，人生在世啊，一定要区分好2种事情，一种是自己能控制的事情，另一种是自己不能控制的事情。
In 2008, they were over leveraged, so we literally went bank. I don't know. I wish people just understand, like, in my opinion, a world where I help people is just more fun than a world. So,
but how do you think about money in all of this? Because most people in their lives are pursuing money so that they can chill out and retire, but you seem to be pursuing it purely for the sake of reinvesting it back into the system.
Money is fuel to grow a business.
And then you make money from the business and then...
To keep growing, yeah. And then you find a business that you enjoy that, is better for Mother Nature or Earth or people. And there you go, you have a fulfilled life. That's my theory. Like with Feastables right now, we're the largest ethically sourced chocolate company in America. And like, it's just fun to like look at something that's been done the same way for 100 years and go, how do we just flip this on its head and fuck up this industry? And, how can we pay our farmers a living income, not use child labor, et cetera, et cetera. And so it's like, we're changing industries, we're impacting the world. Like this is the point of life, in my opinion.
I'd really love to just spend a moment talking about the ethical sourcing piece, because I don't think that's something I didn't understand until I did some research on you.
Yeah.
Why? Why does that matter so much? And when you say ethical sourcing, what's the difference between what you do and what...
I could see a lot of them in the most successful careers, successful...
This weapon is enhanced.
Round 1. Beginning. My weapons enhanced. Ready to First blood. First blood. Good thing it's not us. Rings nearby. 1 minute till close.
Jobs, but I saw a sense of lack of fulfillment, meaning, and purpose in their lives. Because maybe that just doesn't fit, and I think so many people feel that way today.
They don't know what their ideal life looks like, they just know that they're not living it yet.
That process of self-excavation and actualization first requires being exposed. You can't be what you can't see.
What was the best part about being a monk?
The best part about being a monk is that your morning routine and practices are so powerful that you can actually aspire for more incredible values in life. And what it allows you to do is, it allows you to gain clarity and perspective when you need it, because you know when you can just take a bird's eye view from something. You know when you need to get close into something. You know when you need to pull back from something. At 18, I was really fortunate when I met a monk.
Kill leader.
Got us a new kill leader. Wouldn't mind saying good day to him. Get your asses there.
Enemy in the distance.
What a fucking plot.
Care package. Looks like a care package is coming in. Big things in that. Setting an evac tower.
Enemy here. Hold on to your asses.
I've leveled up. Time to perfect a skill. I have chosen an upgrade.
What?
One less enemy. Optics here. Close range.
I'm crafting. Hold up now.
Weapons enhanced and ready to dance.
Hey, looking for another P2020.
I'm going there. You would be wise to follow. Enemy far. Don't let them slip away. Reloading.
Move that way.
Let's go that way.
Move this way. Watching here. Enemy there. Not so fast. Time to
You're coming with me. Fasten your legs to that.
Shields are depleted. I have caught them.
Cracked an enemy.
Cut down an enemy.
还有个
Using cover and cheating. Enemy taken out.
Using a Phoenix kit.
Round 2. Beginning ring countdown.
Enemy far off.
这边又有人复活。
Snare is finding me. This'll bind them. Sending an arc star. Throwing crack. Fire.
Deploying me knuckle cluster. They're shooting at me.
Just giving my shields a recharge.
Juicing me shields.
These mobs taking fire. Reloading. Repairing damages. Shields are depleted. Recharging.
Put the shield now. Reload.
Here comes the old knuckle cluster. Recharging the shields.
I'm spotted. Taking fire. Contact top.
箱子那边抱歉。
Healing.
I find you. Reloading.
我是不小心。
Moving that way.
Serving them a knuckle sandwich.
45 seconds.
Never
Ring
targeting
countdown.
that spot. Enemy there. Enemy at that location. Avoid there.
Rings near with 30 on the clock. Let's move.
拉塔吧。
Enemy at that location.
不走吗？走了吧。
Rings close. 10 seconds. Hold on to your knickers.
Found by my hand. Reloading. The ring is coming. Reposition now. Moving that way.
Check it out. Care package coming in.
Hostile right here.
Joker's
Yes.
shooting at me. Here comes the mother load. Broke that enemy shield. Reload. Joker's shooting at me.
I'm spotted. Taking fire. Broke their shield now.
Ah, Truth, I'm down.
I'm down.
Enemy right here.
Healing.
给他这边两组，那边至少两组。
Focus. Do not let them best you again. Replicator dropping.
Recharging my shield.
Enemy's shield. Enemy. Let's regroup here. What a pitiful squad. Even killing them was dull.
Good team. Don't worry. I got the squad mates banner. That's when I respond, squad. a recharge.
后方有大管的。
Back in the fight, fellas.
Shield battery here.
Watch yourself.
Check it out. Care package coming in.
Optics here. Mid-range.
"左边2楼，
Making contact with enemy.
Already inside the ring, fellas. Next round's on.
Enemy over there.
Don't get too
Taking fire. This will bind them. Moving here.
Heads up. You follow them now, alright? Let's go this way.
Let's regroup here.
Target spotted.
Here comes a rep. Recharging my shields.
Recharging. Let's regroup here.
Shield battery, here.
Cheers, big ears.
Shield battery, here.
This location interests me. That spot has my attention.
Hostile over there.
3楼那边一组。
Enemy void nexus here. Stay vigilant. Target spotted. Far.
Let's go this way.
然后我觉得我们顾好我们这边吧。
We're already in the next ring.
Reloading.
Shield cracked. Finding them. Reloading. Snare is binding me. Shields are depleted. Recharging.
Bloody Joker over there.
Repairing damages.
Reloading.
There, another squad's cutting in.
I'm spotted. Taking fire.
Juicing me shields.
Bound by my hand. Caught with no way out. Reloading.
Hostile over there. Reloaded. Ring countdown.
Enemy.
Enemy far off.
Being shot at.
I'm spotted. Taking fire.
I'm using the Phoenix kit, fellas.
Just giving my shields a recharge.
回来吧。
Serving them a knuckle sandwich. Serving them a knuckle sandwich. Letting rip.
Let's put you in a bind.
Reloading.
Caught with no way out.
Setting up a response device.
Crikey, I'm snared. Recharging my shields.
Taking fire.
Joker's shooting at
Contact
me.
with target.
Reloading.
他这个点电能有人
Recharging shield.
左边要看一下，有跳下来要走，可以不一定要抽，不一定要打他们。
右边朋友
Target there.
Here comes the old knuckle cluster.
Target there.
左边
Enemy
左
at
边
that
到
location.
左。
Reloading.
Target spotted. Frog out.
到我左边哦。
Contact with hostile. I'm spotted. Taking fire. Got me snared.
Launching me Arc Star.
Releasing an Arc Star. Throwing frag.
闪闪闪闪闪闪！
Enemy shield.
Hold on to your hat.
Reload. Enemy shield
站着。
Another precise execution.
Head in that direction.
就可以怎么推的？
We have our next champions.
Fighting, facing possible death. Oh, la bella vita.
Monk. And this monk was invited to speak. And I kind of just went because one of my friends forced me to. At that time, I was listening to CEOs and entrepreneurs and business people and marketers who I thought that's what I was aspiring to be like. And then I hear this monk. And he captivated me like no one had ever captivated me before. It was like staring at the most beautiful woman on the planet. That was the beginning of what changed me. Because I went from being someone who did only want all those things to become successful and trying to, but I started hearing my own inner voice. And there were all these little things happening. I lost 2 great friends when I was 16. One girl died in a car accident. One guy died because he was involved in drugs and violence. That made me rethink everything. And it was kind of like this collation of little things that just made me think, wait a minute, having money, having fame, that just doesn't seem to add up. And then meeting the monk kind of made that shift possible. And then I found out that he'd given up jobs in Google and Microsoft to be a monk. And I thought to myself, who does that? You know, he's given up everything that I'm chasing and that all my friends are chasing, but he seems happier than anyone I've ever met before. I've always had friends who are older than me. And I could see a lot of them in the most successful careers, successful jobs, beautiful partners, whatever it was. But I saw a sense of lack of fulfillment, meaning, and purpose in their lives. And I've always been an observer, and I would see these people who are like 5 years older than me, 7 years older than me, maybe 10 years older than me. And I'd be watching them and go, is that the life I want? And often the advice I give to people today is fast forward where you are, look at yourself in.
That location interests me. Enemy there.
Attention. First blood. First blood. Someone's having fun already.
The enemy is in striking range.
Good news. We're already in the next.
Got them. Grenade. Do not let me test you again.
body block.
In 10, 15, 20 years' time, and ask yourself the question, is that where I want to be? If you're in a company, look at the person who's 20 years ahead of you and ask yourself, is that where I want to be? If you're in a startup, look at where other startups have got to in similar roles and go, is that where I want to be? And if the answer is no, then you need to find a new path.
Codify this for me or for anybody that they don't know what their ideal life looks like, they just know that they're not living it yet.
Mm-hmm.
So what comes after that?
Opening yourself up to new role models and new experiences. See, we live in echo chambers. We're just surrounded by the same thinking. How often do you bump into a monk You know, it just doesn't happen. You don't have, no one has a dinner party and goes, oh yeah, we just invited the monk, you know, from town, like the local monk. Like no one ever does that. And so we meet people who are just like us most of the time. So for me, the first step is just open yourself up to new experiences and new role models. Because most of us can't see ourselves
That is an ideal
in
landing
people,
place.
so then we try and fit ourselves.
Focus, fight, win. Again? Again. That location interests me. An enemy landed near me. Their final mistake.
Gonna be good. Oh, man. Drag out.
I've been snared. Releasing an arc star.
Broke that enemy shield. The enemies are shooting at me. Reloading. Taken down.
Enemy shield cracked. Enemy down.
Giving my shields a recharge.
Maybe you were created to lose. That would be a fun twist.
屋顶了，有一只上屋顶哦，有人在门口。带多少人？
小房间里面有好几。
我靠！
看
泰哥
傻笑，笑死！
在睡觉，
在睡觉啊！
你看看他的美背啊，想干他？哎，不是，他转回来了。
对，他转回来了。
靠背，
没在盯着他，靠背。
看傻笑。
他那边天亮的。
没有啊，他那边我不知道为什么，他那边晚上的时候都是亮的，
到
桌灯没
关，
对吧？
好扯，他都开着灯睡觉了。
他睡多久啊？
他几点睡的？怎么可能才30个小时？5、6个小时应该有啊。